Hello, it's Willie from the Ozarks, and we're ready for our May the 6th lesson in A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students. Lesson 126, we're reading from the original edition. All that I give is given to myself. All that I give is given to myself. The help I need to know that this is true is with me now, and I will trust in Him. That's what we'll be saying throughout the day. Let's read it. All that I give is given to myself. Today's idea, completely alien to the ego and the thinking of the world, is crucial to the thought reversal which this course will bring about. If you believed this statement, there would be no problem in complete forgiveness, certainty of goal, and sure direction. You would understand the means by which salvation comes to you and would not hesitate to use it now. Let us consider what you do believe in place of this idea. It seems to you that other people are apart from you and able to behave in ways which have no bearing on your thoughts, nor theirs on yourself. Therefore, your attitudes have no effect on them, and their appeals for help are not in any way related to your own. You further think that they can sin without affecting your perception of yourself, while you can judge their sins and yet remain apart from condemnation and at peace. Paragraph 3. When you forgive a sin, now this is the way that we're thinking now, but it's clearly what we're trying to learn to think of differently. When you forgive a sin, there is no gain to you directly. You give charity to one unworthy merely to point out that you are better, on a higher plane, than he whom you forgive. He has not earned your charitable tolerance, which you bestow on one unworthy of the gift, because his sins have lowered him beneath a true equality with you. He has no claim on your forgiveness. It holds out a gift to him, but hardly to yourself. Thus is forgiveness basically unsound, a charitable whim, benevolent yet undeserved, a gift bestowed at times, at other times withheld, unmerited. Withholding it is just, nor is it fair that you should suffer when it is withheld. The sin which you forgive is not your own. Someone apart from you committed it, and if you then are gracious unto him by giving him what he does not deserve, the gift is no more yours than was his sin. If this be true, forgiveness has no grounds on which to rest dependably and sure. It is an eccentricity in which you sometimes choose to give indulgently an undeserved reprieve. Yet it remains your right to let the sinner not escape the justified repayment for his sin. Think you the Lord of heaven would allow the world's salvation to depend on this? Would not his care for you be small indeed if your salvation rested on a whim? You do not understand forgiveness. As you see it, it is but a check upon overt attack, without requiring correction in your mind. It cannot give you peace as you perceive it. It is not a means for your release from what you see in someone other than yourself. It has no power to restore your unity with him to your awareness. It is not what God intended it to be for you. Not having given him the gift he asks of you, you cannot recognize his gifts and think he has not given them to you. Yet would he ask you for a gift unless it was for you? Wow, that's the way God works. He doesn't ask for a gift from you unless it's a gift for you, to give it to him. Could he be satisfied with empty gestures and evaluate such petty gifts as worthy of his Son? Salvation is a better gift than this, and true forgiveness as the means by which it is attained, must heal the mind that gives, for receiving is giving. What remains as unreceived has not been given, but what has been given must have been received. So what he's trying to get us to understand here is that what we give is what we're receiving. And we want to see that everyone around us is the perfect picture of what we've been thinking, or they couldn't have been there. So let's find, we're going to learn in our text reading today that it's in that relationship that we make our progress. Is that how we'll learn about it in a minute, but it's the relationship where we meet God, in the relationship with our brother and sister. So this is what we want to start realizing, that all that I give is given to me. All that you give is given to you. Today we try to understand the truth that giver and receiver are the same. You will need help to make this meaningful because it is so alien to the thoughts to which you are accustomed. But the help you need is there. Let's back up in paragraph 7 and read that again. Not having given him the gift he asks of you, you cannot recognize his gifts and think he has not given them to you. Yet would he ask you for a gift unless it was for you? Could he be satisfied with empty gestures and evaluate such petty gifts as worthy of his Son? Salvation is a better gift than this, and true forgiveness as the means by which it is attained must heal the mind that gives. Forgiving is receiving. Forgiving is receiving. What remains as unreceived has not been given, but what has been given must have been received. Today we try to understand the truth that giver and receiver are the same. You will need help to make this meaningful because it is so alien to the thoughts to which you are accustomed. But the help you need is there. Give him your faith today and ask him that he share your practicing in truth today. And if you only catch a tiny glimpse of the release which lies in the idea we practice for today, this is the day of glory for the world. Even if you just catch a little hint of it, just a glimpse, he says, it'll be a day of glory for the world. Give 15 minutes twice today to the attempt to understand today's idea. It is the thought by which forgiveness takes its proper place in your priorities. It is the thought that will release your mind from every bar to what forgiveness means and let you realize its worth to you. So twice today for 15 minutes, we're going to attempt to understand today's idea, and it is the thought by which forgiveness takes its proper place in your priorities. To understand that all that you give is given to yourself. In silence, close your eyes upon the world which does not understand forgiveness, and seek sanctuary in the quiet place, where thoughts are changed and false beliefs laid by. Repeat today's idea and ask for help in understanding what it really means. Be willing to be taught. Be glad to hear the voice of truth and healing speak to you, and you will understand the words he speaks and recognize he speaks your words to you. As often as you can, remind yourself you have a goal today, an aim which makes this day of special value to yourself and all your brothers. Do not let your mind forget this goal for long, but tell yourself often today, all that I give is given to myself. The help I need to learn that this is true is with me now, and I will trust in him. You'll trust in him to show you, to give you vision, to understand that what you give to yourself. Then spend a quiet moment opening your mind to his correction and his love. And what you hear of him you will believe, for what he gives will be received by you. Wow, isn't that beautiful? All that I give is given to myself. The help I need to learn that this is true is the Holy Spirit, and He's in you now. And He's with me now, and I will trust in Him. All right? All that I give is given to myself. Okay, let us go take a look in our next section in chapter 18, the dream and the reality. We're ready for section 4, light in the dream. And while you're turning there, let me tell you just a moment about this little plant right here. Look at that, isn't that pretty? It's a chive, and they make those little pretty purple flowers. And those things, what you can do is I don't know where you break them off at. I suppose play with it and figure it out, but I broke that one off at the base, and just so that you could get a close look at it. But you know what? Those things, nice, chop in a salad, chop the chive itself up and put it in your salad, or use it for cooking or whatever. But anyway, chives. Let me tell you something about the alliums. Did I not get the right? I did not get the right card. I wrote on I'm looking at my yesterday's card thinking it was today's. Okay, well then I'll have to get that later. But let me tell you a little bit about it. I found it on Healthline, and it talked about that there's been studies they've made that show that the alliums, including chives, have anti-cancer and cancer-fighting properties within them, and may have to do with the sulfur compounds in it. But at any rate, there's a lot of evidence that chives are very good about remedying the body of cancer. So I just wanted to point that out. I try to eat a little allium every day. A little bit in the salad, I like it anyway. Okay, light in the dream. You have spent your lives in bringing truth to illusion, reality to fantasy. Have walked the way of dreams. You who have spent your lives in bringing truth to illusion, reality to fantasy, have walked the way of dreams. For you have gone from waking to sleeping and on to yet a deeper sleep. Each dream has led to other dreams, and every fantasy which seemed to bring the light into the darkness, but made the darkness deeper. Each of these dreams just made the darkness deeper. Your goal was darkness in which no ray of light could enter. And you sought a blackness so complete that you could hide from truth forever in complete insanity. What you forgot was simply that God cannot destroy Himself. And you're one with God. So God can't destroy Himself. You forgot that. What you forgot was simply that God cannot destroy Himself. The light is in you. Darkness can cover it, but cannot put it out. As the light comes nearer, in paragraph 25, as the light comes nearer, you will rush to darkness, shrinking from the truth, sometimes retreating to the lesser forms of fear, and sometimes to stark terror. But you will advance because your goal is the advance from fear to truth. You know this. The goal which you accepted is the goal of knowledge, for which you signified your willingness. Fear seems to live in darkness, and when you are afraid, you have stepped back. Let us then join quickly in an instant of light, and it will be enough to remind you that your goal is light. Truth has rushed to meet you since you called upon it. Paragraph 26. If you knew who walks beside you on this way which you have chosen, fear would be impossible. Wow, there's a nice little thought, isn't it? If you knew who walks beside you on this way which you have chosen, fear would be impossible. You do not know because the journey into darkness has been long and cruel, and you have gone deep into it. A little flicker of your eyelids, closed so long, has not yet been sufficient to give you confidence in yourselves, so long despised. You go toward love, still hating it and terribly afraid of its judgment upon you, and you do not realize that you are not afraid of love, but only of what you have made of it. You're not afraid of love, but only what you've made of love. You are advancing to love's meaning and away from all illusions in which you have surrounded it. You are advancing to love's meaning and away from all illusions in which you have surrounded it. Let's read that one more time. You are advancing to love's meaning and away from all illusions in which you have surrounded it. When you retreat to the illusion, your fear increases, for there is little doubt that what you think it means is fearful. Yet what is that to us who travel surely and very swiftly away from fear? 27. You who hold each other's hand also hold mine. You who hold each other's hand also hold mine. For when you joined each other, you were not alone. Do you believe that I would leave you in the darkness you agreed to leave with me? In your relationship is this world's light. And there's what I was trying to tell you earlier. In your relationship is this world's light. Wow, isn't that beautiful? The relationship itself, it has light in it. Just the fact that you've joined with another. So in your relationship is this world's light. And fear must disappear before you now. Be tempted not to snatch away the gift of faith you offered to each other. Keep believing each other. Remember 1 Corinthians 13? Love believeth all things. It has faith in each other. When you're not so sure, you just trust that you trust your partner. So you have faith in your partner. And it says in your relationship is this world's light. And fear must disappear before you now. Be tempted not to snatch away the gift of faith you offered to each other. You will succeed only in frightening yourself. If you don't have faith in your brother, it's just going to make you feel afraid. Well, we've all been there, haven't we? But we're learning a better way now. You will succeed only in frightening yourselves if you don't have faith in your brother or your sister, your relationship partner. The gift is given forever, for God himself received it. You cannot take it back. You have accepted God. The holiness of your relationship is established in heaven. You do not understand what you accept, but remember that your understanding is not necessary. We don't understand, but he says it's not necessary. All that was necessary was merely the wish to understand. That wish was the desire to be holy. The will of God is granted you, for you desire the only thing you ever had or ever were. So you don't have to really understand it, just a wish to understand, a willingness to be shown. That's what we're asking the Holy Spirit today in our lesson when he tells us, all that I give is given to myself. All that I give is given to myself. You know, maybe that's a nice place to stop for today. I was going to read the whole section, but you know what? I like the idea that we've really focused on this concept that in your relationship is this world's light, and fear must disappear before you now. Be tempted not to snatch away the gift of faith you offer to each other. Let's remember to do that. Let's remember to have faith in each other. You will succeed only in frightening yourself if you don't hold faith for your brothers or your sister and believe in them, trust in them. Remember, one of our lessons was going to coming up. It'll be, I trust my brothers who are one with me. You have accepted God. Okay, let's back up. The gift is given forever, for God himself received it. Be tempted not to snatch away the gift of faith you offer to each other. You will succeed only in frightening yourselves. The gift is given forever, for God himself received it. You cannot take it back. You have accepted God. The holiness of your relationship is established in heaven. You do not understand what you accepted, but remember that your understanding is not necessary. All that was necessary was merely the wish to understand. That wish was the desire to be holy. The will of God is granted you, for you desire the only thing you ever had or ever were. Okay, and we'll pick up there tomorrow in paragraph 28. So let me mark that. And then let's go back and take one last look at our lesson for today, which are to do 2 15-minute extended periods and then a long or short remembrance throughout the day, at least every hour. And he says as much as you can. Tell yourself, all that I give is given to myself, and the help I need to learn that this is true is with me now. I will trust in him. So let's trust the Holy Spirit to change our mind. From this first page, he explains the way we've been thinking now about forgiveness and how we're connected with each other. Not. But we're realizing that we are connected. And the way you see your brother is the way you see yourself. So thank you for joining me on this rainy day. I've got an umbrella over my head. All that I give is given to myself. The help I need to learn that this is true is with me now, and I will trust in him. All that I give is given to myself.